country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Trump Trolls Trump. And we begin this one with incredible news. I hope you're sitting down. Actually, maybe you should be standing up because you're going to want to jump for joy. We are winning. We're winning everything, everywhere. Everybody can feel it. It's in the air. It's in the gas pump. It's at the grocery store, in our retirement accounts. The nation is facing relentless wave after wave of brutal, relentless winning. And most of that winning is emptying our wallets. Okay, you know in the show that our purpose here, even in the darkest of times, is to shine a light on the incompetence and idiocy of Donald and everybody else in the Trump regime. Because we have to remember that mockery is our superpower. And as hard as it is, we cannot allow them to keep us buried under their unrelenting negative news cycle. Especially, we're in this for the long haul, guys. So I think it's okay if once a week we kind of let our metaphorical hair down and get laser focused on just making fun of them. It has been 425 days since Inauguration Day. And as I mentioned, the winning is incredible. Truly incredible. The country is so tired of winning. It is basically on its knees begging for mercy. I have heard people say, sir, stop the winning. We cannot take it anymore. And I, of course, say that with every ounce of sarcasm it deserves. So we are looking back at week 61, and we are focusing on a very dangerous, deeply unserious, wildly incompetent, bumbling regime, and just laughing at them. Since Donald's war of choice in Iran began 3 weeks ago, prices have surged across the board, apparently with no end in sight. Beforehand, gas was about $2.98 a gallon. Now it's around $3.88, a roughly 29% jump of almost 90 cents. And that includes a 25 to 30 cent spike in the first week alone. This week, NBC spoke to a voter in rural Pennsylvania, which, as you probably know, is a swing state. And that voter weighed in on what she thinks of Donald and his rising gas prices. Check it out.
I'm in Millersburg, Pennsylvania. The reason I'm here is it's a swing district, Pennsylvania's 10th district in a swing state. President Trump won this district by about 5 points, but the local congressman, Scott Perry, is in danger of losing the midterms. And we wanted to talk to people about their feelings about gas prices. Pennsylvania's average gas price about $3.76 a gallon right now. We went to like the cheapest place around, $3.54.9 a gallon here.
If you could say something to President Trump and he was going to hear you right now, what would it be?
You're a worthless pile of
And you voted for him how many times?
3 times. That was my bad. Apparently, I'm an idiot.
I was hoping she could be more clear. I think we're just going to have to intuit what she meant. Speaking of idiots, actually, no, that's not the segue. With the midterms approaching and momentum shifting, although you knew who I was talking about, didn't you? Yeah. Anyway, with the midterms approaching and momentum clearly shifting, you might expect that some Republicans are concerned, but that's not what we're hearing. Take, for example, Congressman Tom Emmer, who says he is not just confident about the midterms, he's downright bullish. You might even say giddy.
Look, I'm bullish on the midterms. President Trump has delivered on the promises that he made, and he's continuing to deliver. And as soon as this conflict is behind us, this mission has been accomplished, you'll see the economy once again be the focus on how it's taking off for all Americans. And that bodes well for Republicans in the midterms.
Well, that sounds very practical and very smart. Thank you for that.
Very practical and very smart and brilliant stage management there. Because while that guy is talking about all of the promises Donald kept, you're seeing images of a war of choice he launched when one of his biggest promises for the last decade has been to keep America out of a war. Yes, bombs dropping everywhere. Well done. Kevin Hassett, the director of the National Economic Council, also says he's not concerned about any of this. Well, I mean, it's not just that. He's not only not concerned about prices, he doesn't seem to care if the war continues, even if it hurts consumers, because, well, according to him, they don't care about consumers. If you don't believe that a sentient human being actually said these things out loud, watch.
But the fact is that the U.S. economy is fundamentally sound, and that if it were to be extended, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, if that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's like really the last of our concerns right now.
I know that people who support Donald probably don't watch the show unless they're confused by which Trump is trolling which Trump, in which case, hi. But here's the thing. The contempt these people have for their own voters, forget about the rest of us. We know they don't care about Democrats. The contempt they have for the Republican voter is so profound that it is not surprising that people who voted for Donald 3 times are running around trying to figure out, I don't know, which organ to sell so they can get a tank of gas and heat their homes, or calling Donald a piece of shit. A well-deserved moniker. So it's possible that Republicans are not worried about the coming midterms because, well, I was going to say because they don't really have a lot of brain cells functioning. But it could also be because they know that they're doing everything they can to cheat and steal the election in advance. And Donald is a pro at this. He has known his entire life that he can only win by cheating. He has never won anything legitimately in his life. Republicans see the same polls we're seeing. They see that the aforementioned momentum is moving away from them and towards Democrats. They know that even though Donald is not up for re-election of any kind and never will be because, the Constitution, he is still on the ballot, and that is not good for any Republican running right now. They know people hate the war, especially their constituents who were lied to about it, and they can't stand how prices are rising across the board. So, of course, Republicans are finding ways to circumvent the Constitution in an effort not just to influence the next election, but to suppress voting to such a degree they can effectively steal it. Because what Republicans have known for decades now is that lower turnout benefits them. Yes, the fewer people vote, the better Republicans do. And of course, that is contrary to the American principle that everybody should have the right to vote and everybody who has the right to vote should vote, because Republicans are un-American, anti-American traitors. All of this is being promoted as a way to save our elections from immigrants who steal them by voting illegally. But of course, there is no, let me rephrase, voter fraud in America is practically non-existent. It is already illegal for non-American citizens to vote. So that's not even an issue. So when Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, was asked to provide evidence of even one case of voter fraud, he didn't even attempt an answer because there isn't one.
The president has said that the Save America Act is his number one priority.
Yeah.
When making the argument to Democrats to vote yes for this, because it will require Democrat votes to pass, can you give for me one example of fraud conducted in a previous election that the Save America Act would prevent?
Look, we're not going to litigate all that.
Yes. Let's not litigate something we can't litigate because the facts do not support our false claims. See, Mike Johnson is good at some things. Evading, lying, ass-kissing. He's a multi-generational talent. Finally, I want to close on one story that is staggering. And listen, we want to be fair here. I think it is very important to point out those instances, no matter how rare, when Donald shows us in all its glory his deeply felt compassion for his fellow beings, a man of the people. During a press conference this week about the closing of the Kennedy Center, again, Donald is closing it because he ruined it and bankrupted and doesn't want to hear about that for another 2 years. So it's going to be renovated for a very long time, like almost until his term is over. After that announcement, Donald urged Mike Johnson to tell a story about a House colleague who had been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Now, I said compassion. I think I did. That was probably the wrong word. I've been spending too much time watching Mark Wayne Mullen, and I think my IQ has dropped considerably. When I said compassion, I meant total lack of compassion, because Donald told the story as if it were like the punchline of a joke. That guy was dying. So the only reason it turns out that this other House member received medical care he needed to save his life wasn't because Donald cared about him or cared about saving his life, just, because he could. Like, he had him brought to Walter Reed Hospital, which probably has among the best healthcare on the planet, the best surgeons, et cetera, et cetera. No. The Republicans in the House have a very, very slim majority. I think it's a 3 or 4 seat majority. And if that guy had died, that majority would have gotten even slimmer. And there are over 530 people in the House of Representatives. People die, people retire, people get sick, people can't show up for votes. Johnson is desperate here. So that's why Donald saved the guy's life, so he could make sure the Republicans still have the majority. And if you don't believe me, watch this.
We had one man who was very ill. It looked like he wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I won't mention his name. Should I? Do other people know his name? Do you want to mention it? He'll be proud. Go ahead. Tell him the story.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Congressman Neil Dunn of Florida had some real health challenges, and it was very serious, and had a pretty grim diagnosis. And I mentioned it to the president, and I said, Congressman Dunn is a real champion and a patriot because he's still coming to work. And if others got this diagnosis, they would be apt to go home and retire. And
what was the diagnosis?
It was, I think it was a terminal diagnosis.
He would be dead by June.
Okay, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay. That's it was grim. That's what I was going to say. I don't think
with a heart problem, by the way. This was a heart problem.
Right. So the long story short, the president called him to encourage him and thank him, and they had a conversation, and the president mentioned in the course of the conversation, I ought to get my doctors involved, and they did, and within a number of hours, they took him to Walter Reed, emergency surgery. The man has a new lease on life. He acts like he's 30 years younger, and he walked into the conference meeting, and we thought we'd seen a ghost.
Mike called me, and he said, "Sir, we're up by 3, but we're going to lose 1 by June." Said, who? Neil Dunn. He's a great congressman. Incredible. He called to say that he was terminal, really bad heart. There's nothing they can do. I said, that's bad. Number 1, it was bad because I liked him. Number 2, it was bad because I needed his vote.
What a guy. That is one of the rare times you see Donald laugh. And he only ever laughs at somebody else's expense. He thinks this is hysterical. And 1, he had no idea who this person was before Johnson called him. And 2, there's only one reason he decided to extend the offer to have the congressman treated at Walter Reed, thereby, I guess, saving his life. Because they need his vote. That's who these people are, and that's who they will always be. And if Mike Johnson ever starts invoking his holier than thou Christian bullshit. Watch that clip again, because he is a complete fake. Donald, on the other hand, is quite genuine. He has this rare talent for being honest when doing so makes him look like a total fucking creep. All right. Thank you for watching this edition of Trump Trolls Trump. Remember, mockery is our secret weapon and superpower. We are here every week to call out the lies and the idiocy of everybody in the Trump regime, making fun of and highlighting their incompetence. If you'd like to support us, the easiest way is to like and share the video. Join the conversation by leaving your thoughts in the comments section. Another fun thing you could do is send the link to the video to somebody who hates me. You know, just for fun. Finally, please subscribe to the Mary Trump Media channel so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. Thank you so much, and we will see you again next week.
Please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore.